Welcome crafters to my channel Lisa Horton Crafts. I thought today we will go through the benefits and the uses of the brand new Tacky Mat that has just been introduced to the brand. I think once you see this in action, you're going to realise, how did I live without that? So what I'll do is I'll flick you to the overhead and we'll take you through all the benefits and the reasons why you need one of our brand new Tacky Mats. On my desk we have some ink pads. We also have the Tacky Mat. We have my Ulti-Mate 2, which is our award-winning patented system that allows you to use your layering stencils with ease. It allows you to do your scoring. It has a tool inside which gives you the option to cut other stencils from other brands and have them work with our system. The Tacky Mat comes in this beautiful packaging. It measures approximately 9 inches wide by 9.5 inches deep. So it fits inside your Ulti-Mate. It also fits inside your Ulti-Mate 2, so it works with both of the tools, but it also works as an independent product which you can leave on your desk and use without any other tools at all. It also comes with this acetate grid as well, which allows you to do some lining up should you want to. But let me show you mine, which is underneath, which is a little less pristine than the one we've got here, but it is definitely worth you having a look at. So where do we start with the Tacky Mat? Now, when it comes to you, it will come with these 2 layers. So you'll have one on the front and one on the back, and that is to protect it. We need to protect it because obviously it's going to attract things like pet hair, anything you might have that's bobbly, or any fibres that might be lying around on your desk. I found it attracted my gilding flakes, so I had to make sure that I kept it covered and away from when I was doing things like that. So also it comes with, as I said, this grid. So if I lift this out now, I'm going to take the whole thing out. As I said, mine is used and loved, so mine isn't in pristine condition. However, if we remove this from here, you will see on the Tacky Mat here, I would try and get it in the light, but at the top here, you will see there are holes. Let me see if I can get the lighting on that for you. Hang on, let's turn it that way a little bit. Up here, there you go. You can see those holes just at the top there. Now they sit directly over your system like so. And this is the place where if you want to have your card in perfectly in the center, if you wanted to rotate your card for any reason, if you wanted to mask off an area and make sure it's nice and straight, this is going to be the place that you do it. Now your Tacky Mat, as I say, comes with the kind of the acetate front and back, and you can see mine. I don't know if you pick that up, but here I have got a piece of gilding flakes attached to mine. It hasn't come off yet, but I will be working out how to get that off just by a little bit of soap and water under my tap. Now, the other thing that's worth remembering is it's 9.5 by 9. So if you try and fit it in your tool and it doesn't fit, rotate it and it will fit perfectly. So pop it inside. It's right up to each edge. So make sure you keep it nice and straight in there. And now you are ready to go. Now, you don't have to do this. You don't have to have this element underneath, but it is always handy if you are trying to do something with a specific size in mind. Now, I'm going to grab a piece of cardstock and let's see what we've got in my drawer of goodies. Yeah, this is quite a big piece. Now, let me trim that down a little. So I'm just going to use my trimmer. I'll be off camera just for a second while I trim this down for you. So I've taken a piece of card which is 9.5 centimeters squared. Yes, it's a random number, but it was the size that worked for me, that I had available. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that down on my mat. Now I can see this is a 4-inch mark and this is slightly smaller than 4 inches. So I'm roughly going to line that up in the middle just because I want to, really. But if you had a 5x5 piece of card, 6x6, whatever you wanted, you could line that up too. The other thing you can do is you can do it diagonally as well. Now let me lift that up so we can take it off. There we go. And we can turn it that way. So you might find you want to do it as a diamond shape. You might want to be inking corners or masking off the centerpiece that way. And you could simply do that by taking another piece of card. Let me grab a small piece and this is not long enough, but you would literally place that in the middle all the way across, and then you would be able to ink both sides and have that little white gap in the middle, and it will give you that perfect straight line. However, for today, all I want to do is just show you the benefits of how we use this. So let's start off with a little bit of inking, shall we? So I'm going to bring in one of my ink pads. Now this is my Shocking Pink Cloud 9 blending ink. So when you get your blending inks home, you will see that they are a beautiful felt base and they are a matte chalk ink. So what that means is you are going to get the ink sitting on the surface and it will give you that beautiful soft airbrushed kind of look. Now let me grab a couple of brushes, and I'm going to grab one of my Wonder brushes, which are these beautiful, beautiful little brushes, and they come in 4 sizes. But for today, we're just going to use the small one, just so I can show you how this works. So I'm going to grab some ink just from my mat here, and I'm actually not going to hold anything. I'm just going to show you how this works. So we come off the edge lightly because we don't want it too heavy. And then we just bring our ink in and we go all the way across like so. And you can see I haven't touched this mat. I'm not holding down here. I'm not doing anything. And I'm actually applying quite a bit of pressure here to get the depth of colour on this Shocking Pink. I'm not pressing very hard in some areas, but I'm pressing hard in others so we can get the benefit of that Shocking Pink ink. Now, the other thing you can do is use this with your stencils. So you can lay your stencil on top with ease and it will stick around the edge. So we're going to do a few techniques just on this same piece of card. I'm not going to worry about changing the cardstock up. I'm just going to give you some ideas of how you can use this and why you would want it in your stash. So I have this wonderful set here, and this is our Floribunda element. So this is a set of layering stencils that will create all of these elements for you. However, they'll cut them and emboss them separately. So let me just open this set and we will have a look just at one of the stencils, just so you can see how this system works. Now, if you were doing the layering in the traditional sense of the word, what you would do is you would take our stencils and you would pop them onto the pegs if you didn't have your Tacky Mat, and then you would do your ink, put your card underneath and do your inking. You can absolutely still do that, but the beauty of this is that now we can decide where we want our stenciling. So for example, I might turn the Ulti-Mate 2 around and I might want my flower up here. I might want it over the top of this. I might want to do some kind of ombre stenciling. There's many ways that I might want to use this. So what the best thing I find the best thing to do is, if you want to do that rather than using the pegs, is take your stencil number 1 and line it, find yourself a point and line it up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this flower here. So I'm going to turn my stencil around and I'm going to make a decision. Do I want it over here, here? So I think I might want it on top, and we'll do some ombre stenciling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this corner here. If I show you there, just that corner here, yeah, and I'm going to pop that onto a spot which I will remember. So I'm going to pop that just in that corner like so, and I'm going to line the other corner up so we've got it perfectly straight. So I am going to use, let me grab a just something to mark with. I'm going to use this corner, this square corner here, as my point of reference. Okay, so always every layer I do will go in that little corner. Now you could mark it in some way if you wanted to, but I know what I'm planning on doing, so that's why I've done this. So I'm going to stick with the Shocking Pink, but I'm going to bring in a darker colour as well, and I'm going to bring in my Rhubarb Jam. So let's start with the Shocking Pink again. And what we'll do is we'll just give a little bit more definition to that pink, and we'll make it a little bit heavier. So when we use our rhubarb jam, you'll still see the pink underneath. Now I'm going to have to put my hand there simply because I don't really want to put my hand over here, but you can see it's absolutely holding it down. Nothing's moving. There's going to be no moving of anything. So I'm just holding it only because it's what I would normally do. So we're going to come over here with the pink, and we're just going to ink this to give ourselves some more depth of colour. This is just to show you the different things that you can do. Now that looks great. And I'm still got to remember that's the area where we're going to be putting the next stencil. Oh, so I need to lift that up. Now you can see it's quite tacky. So I'll lift that up like so, and we'll take that off. When that lifts off, you can see we've got some of that colour come through already. And then I'll take stencil number 2, and I will remember where I lined it up. There we are. Just in that corner there, as we were before. Oops, let me just lift that up a minute. Pop that down in that corner, lay that like so, and now we've put our stencil straight over the top, but it's in a completely different place where you'd expect it to be if you were using the layering system with the pegs. So now we'll come in just to get that second layer on, just so you can see the result. Now, these are quite detailed stencils, so I just take it really carefully. I am going to move my hand away, just so you can see that I don't have to hold it. I'm going to go over the top of that colour, like so. And you can see already we've got that beautiful depth of colour. And the beauty of these inks are they just layer on top of each other with ease. So now I can still lift that up with the stencil on there. Just even that far, I'm trying to test it, and it's staying in position. So all we do now is we kind of lift the mat up, and it literally comes loose. We'll take that off, and there you go. And obviously these colours are quite dark between each other. However, if I show you now, you should be able to see that there is a difference in the colour, but we've managed to put our stencil wherever we wanted to. So that is one way of using it. Now, the other way of using it is if you are using it with your 3D embossing folders and layering stencils. So if we lift that off, we can pop this over here, and then we can pop our cardstock, our stencil back on, and we could do 2 layers again if we wanted to. So we're on the white card, so it would make it easier. So this would be the traditional way, but it means now we don't have to have anything to hold down our cardstock. And I can actually use some of that ink that's already on there, just around the edge, like so, and then lift that off. And you can see straight away, it's done that beautiful inking for me. And then we'll pop stencil number 2 down. And again, let's bring in, oh yeah, let's go back with that rhubarb jam because that worked very well last time. And then I'm not holding, I'm trying to make sure it's just naturally your hand wants to hold it, but you don't have to, because you can see here it's absolutely fine. And if it's not, it might be time to run it under the tap and give it a little clean. So let's lift that off. There you go. So you can see you can stencil with ease using this tool. I actually have 2 or 3 of these, and I have cut one in half, so I can use one in my craft room. I could still use one indoors if I'm working from home maybe, and I don't fancy venturing into the studio. But it also gives me the opportunity of using it without the Ulti-Mate as well. So if we take the Ulti-Mate away, we can pop it down on our desk. We'll remove the backing and lay it down, and now we can use it on our desk. And I've done that because now it gives me ability to see the colour of the ink and do a little bit of housekeeping. So all I would say is give it a tiny little mist of water and take something that doesn't have fibre in it. So don't pick up something like a towel or something that has a lot of texture to it, or you will find that the fibres will come off and you will lose your sticky. I used a piece of kitchen towel, which I know hasn't got any fibres on it. And all I do is I take a small area and I give it a wipe. Some people like to use a microfiber cloth. Microfiber cloths tend to vary whether they've got many fibres on them or not, but find something if you want to wipe it that doesn't have the fibres. If not, I would strongly recommend you take it, you run it under your tap and you leave it to dry. Now, importantly, when you get yours and you feel it, it doesn't feel sticky. Now, it's not holding my hand, it's not really sticky, but when you go to move it, it doesn't move. So let me show you with a random piece of cardstock. Now, this was a little die cut that I was using the other day. And if you pop that down, see, even it isn't holding the small pieces down particularly well, but when you start to use it, it's not moving. So if you're doing your inking, it's still not going to move. That really is all you need to remember. Keep it nice and clean. Keep it away from fibres if you can, but make sure when you pop it into your tool, you pop it in the right way. You pop it in so it fits beautifully and lay it down like so. And now I can put my card on and do my inking without anything moving in the slightest. It's a great little tool. I really hope you enjoyed that. I really hope you found a reason why you might need this in your life. This is it. This is how it comes to you. Please remember, keep it clean. It does actually stain. But please don't worry if it does stain. It will absolutely be fine. It will do the same job as it does whether it's got ink on it, whether it hasn't got ink on it. But it is one of those things that happens with permanent inks and sometimes pigment inks that have a lot of colour in them. So just enjoy the product, irrelevant whether it's marked or not. And remember, it will not affect its performance. So thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure to have your company, and I hope to see you on the next video.